Have you ever been home alone late at night when a sudden knock at the door sends a shiver down your spine? You weren't expecting anyone. You peek through the peephole and see a child, maybe two, standing on your porch. They look lost, maybe a little cold. Your first instinct is to help, right? But something feels off. An unexplainable dread starts to creep into your heart. This is the beginning of an encounter with one of the internet's most terrifying modern legends, the black-eyed children. This story didn't originate in some ancient, dusty book of folklore. It's a product of the digital age. Born from an online post in the late 1990s and spreading like wildfire across forums and social media. Yet, it taps into fears as old as time, the fear of the unknown, the stranger at the door, and the unsettling feeling when something familiar is just wrong. The story almost always starts the same way. It's late, you're isolated, and they appear out of nowhere. They're just kids, usually between 6 and 16 years old. They might be wearing slightly outdated clothes, or a simple hoodie that shadows their face. They'll ask for something simple. Can we come in? We need to use your phone. Or maybe you're in your car at a quiet intersection, and they tap on your window. We're lost. Can you give us a ride? Their voices are described as oddly monotonous, lacking the usual inflection you'd expect from a child in distress. Every instinct you have screams that something is terribly wrong. You feel a primal, paralyzing fear that you can't quite explain. You know, deep down in your gut, that you absolutely cannot let them in. This feeling of dread is a key component of every single story. It's not just regular fear. It's a profound, overwhelming sense of impending doom. People who claim to have had these encounters say it's like their fight-or-flight response is going haywire. They feel like they're in the presence of something not entirely human, something predatory. The children, meanwhile, remain eerily calm. They just stand there, waiting for your answer. So, you hesitate. You try to reason with them. My phone is dead, you might say. Or I can call someone for you, but you can't come inside. This is when things escalate. Their polite request becomes a demand. Let us in. Their monotone voice gains a sharp, insistent edge. They become more persistent, more forceful. They might say things like, "We won't hurt you," or "We just need to use your phone. Why won't you help us?" The pressure mounts. And that's usually when they finally look up. And that's the moment the true horror is revealed. Their eyes. They're not normal. There's no white, no iris, no pupil. Just two solid, pitch-black orbs, like a shark's eyes, or deep, empty voids. It's a sight so unnatural, so terrifying, that it confirms all your worst fears. These are not lost children. They are something else entirely. The accounts all agree on this one chilling detail. The complete and total blackness of their eyes is what brands the memory into the minds of those who witness it. It's a detail that defies logical explanation. Are they wearing some kind of special contact lenses? Is it a trick of the light? Or is it something far more sinister? What happens if you refuse? The stories vary, but they're all unsettling. Some people say the children's calm demeanor shatters, and they become visibly angry, their voices turning menacing. They might bang on the door or the window, their demands growing louder and more threatening. Others report that the children simply vanish. One moment they're right there, staring at you with those terrifying black eyes, and the next, they're gone, disappearing into the night as silently as they arrived, leaving you with a racing heart and the lingering feeling of having narrowly escaped a terrible fate. But what happens if you let them in? Well, thankfully, there are very few stories that go that far. The legend acts as a cautionary tale. The implication is that letting them cross your threshold is the last mistake you'll ever make. The few accounts that do exist are vague and terrifying, speaking of illness, misfortune, or even death befalling those who gave in to the children's demands. It's as if inviting them in is an invitation for a curse or some malevolent force to enter your life. So where did this all begin? The origin can be traced back to 1996, when a journalist named Brian Bethel posted his supposed real-life encounter on an online mailing list about ghosts. He described being in his car in a parking lot when two young boys approached him. He recounted the strange conversation, the overwhelming fear, and the final reveal of their coal-black eyes. His story was so compelling and detailed that it captured the imagination of the early internet community. From there, it grew. People started sharing their own alleged encounters, adding new details and variations to the mythos. The Black-Eyed Children became a staple of creepypasta, which are horror stories shared and copied across the internet. They're a perfect example of modern folklore, or what some call digital folklore, instead of being passed down orally around a campfire. These stories are shared through clicks, likes, and comments. They evolve and mutate with each retelling, just like traditional legends did. The core elements remain the same: the children, the request, the fear, and the black eyes, but the settings and specific details change, making the story feel both personal and universal at the same time. But why is this story so effective? What makes it so bone-chillingly scary? It plays on several deep-seated psychological fears. First, there's the corruption of innocence. Children are supposed to be symbols of purity and helplessness. We are socially conditioned to protect them and help them. The Black-Eyed Children twist this instinct against us. They use the guise of a child to get close, turning our own compassion into a potential weapon against us. It creates a terrifying dilemma. Do you ignore a child in need? Or do you risk inviting a monster into your home? Then there's the fear of the uncanny valley. This is the unsettling feeling we get when something looks almost human, but not quite. The monotonous voice, the strange persistence, and of course, the solid black eyes. All these elements place the children squarely in the uncanny valley. Our brains recognize them as humanoid, but the subtle wrongness triggers a primal alarm. They're close enough to human to be familiar, but different enough to be profoundly disturbing. And finally, there's the invasion of a safe space. Our homes and our cars are our personal sanctuaries. They are the places where we feel most secure. The Black-Eyed Children seek to violate that security. They stand on the threshold, asking for permission to cross it. The entire encounter is a battle of wills, centered on that boundary between the safe world inside and the unknown, threatening world outside. The story reminds us that sometimes all that separates us from a potential nightmare is a locked door and the strength to say no. Theories about what these beings could be are as varied as the stories themselves. Some people believe they are demons or other malevolent spirits, taking on a deceptive form. Others suggest they might be aliens, trying to abduct or study humans. Some even propose they are some kind of psychic vampire, feeding off the fear they generate. And of course, there are the skeptics who argue that the entire phenomenon is nothing more than a well-crafted internet story, a work of collective fiction. They point to the lack of any physical evidence and the fact that most stories are anonymous, second-hand accounts. But whether you believe the stories are real or not, you can't deny their power. The legend of the Black-Eyed Children has become a cultural touchstone in the world of modern horror. It has inspired countless short stories, films, and even TV show episodes. It's a testament to the power of a good story, especially one that taps into our most fundamental fears. It proves that even in our hyper-connected, scientific world, the fear of the dark and what might be lurking in it is as potent as ever. So, the next time you hear that unexpected knock late at night, and you see a small figure standing on your porch through the peephole, you might just hesitate. You'll remember the stories. You'll remember the feeling of inexplicable dread. And you'll probably find yourself looking very, very closely at their eyes before you even think about turning the doorknob. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the internet's scariest legends, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more explorations into the strange and unexplained. Let me know in the comments if you've ever heard a story about the Black-Eyed Children, or if you have a local legend you'd like me to cover next. Stay safe, and maybe keep your porch light on tonight.